The storm rolled across the plains like an angry god. Lightning split the sky, thunder tore the silence, and that's when he heard it. A woman's voice, weak and trembling, carried by the wind. "I beg you. It hurts so bad." The cowboy froze. The voice came from somewhere near the old creek bed, the same place no one dared to go after dark. If you love emotional Wild West stories filled with courage, heartbreak, and redemption, make sure to like this video right now and subscribe to Legends of the Wild West. You don't want to miss what happens next. The storm had been coming all afternoon. Eli Carson, a cowboy of few words and fewer friends, was fixing a fence post when the first drops hit the dirt. By the time he reached the barn, the rain was a wall of water. He was about to shut the door when he heard it, faint but unmistakable. A cry. He turned, heart hammering. The wind howled so loud he almost thought he'd imagined it. But then it came again, closer. "I beg you, please. It hurts." Eli grabbed his lantern and rifle, pulling on his slicker as he ran into the storm. The mud sucked at his boots. The rain stung his face like needles. Lightning flashed, and there, half collapsed near the creek, he saw her, a young woman drenched, clutching her side. Her horse lay nearby, dead from the fall. She tried to stand, but her leg gave out beneath her. Eli rushed over, dropping to one knee. "Easy now," he said. "You're hurt bad." She looked up, eyes glassy from pain and fear. "Please, don't let me die." Eli lifted the lantern, saw the jagged wound on her thigh, bleeding through torn fabric. "Bullet wound," he muttered. She shook her head. "No, shrapnel. From a wagon they attacked us so." Her voice trailed off. Eli didn't ask who they were. He could see from her torn dress and broken spirit that she'd been through hell. He hesitated for a moment, looking toward his cabin. Taking her there meant trouble. Maybe the men who attacked her would follow. But leaving her meant death. He took a breath and said softly, "It'll be quick." Her eyes widened, then softened when she saw what he meant. He tore his coat into strips, tied a bandage around her leg, and hoisted her into his arms. "Quick," he said again. "We'll get you home before the storm kills us both." By the time they reached the cabin, the wind was howling like a beast. He laid her gently on the table, started the fire, and went for his medical box, an old army kit he'd kept from his days as a field medic. She tried to speak, but pain stole her words. Eli worked fast, pulling the shrapnel out with shaking hands. She screamed once, clutching the table, tears mixing with rainwater. When it was done, he wrapped the wound and wiped her brow. "You're safe now," he said quietly. "No one's going to hurt you here." Her breathing steadied, her eyes fluttered shut. For the first time in years, Eli Carson knelt beside another soul and prayed. Morning came slow and gray. The storm had passed, leaving behind a world washed clean. Eli sat in the corner, watching as the woman stirred. Her face was pale, her hair tangled from the night. She blinked, confusion in her eyes. "You're at my cabin," Eli said. "You passed out from blood loss." She tried to sit up but winced. "My name's Clara," she said weakly. "We were heading west. My father, my brother, and I. We were ambushed. Yeah, I ran. I didn't make it far." Eli poured her water and helped her drink. "You're lucky I heard you." She looked around the cabin. The weathered walls, the hanging lantern, the rifle leaning near the door. "You live alone?" He nodded. "Been that way since the war." "Union?" she asked. He hesitated. "Once. Doesn't much matter now." Though for a while silence filled the room, broken only by the fire's crackle. Eli replaced her bandages carefully. She watched him. The way his hands were steady, his eyes distant, like a man haunted by ghosts. When she thanked him, he just nodded. "Don't thank me yet. You'll need days before you can walk." As the days passed, Clara regained her strength. She helped where she could, peeling potatoes, sweeping the floor, humming softly when she thought he wasn't listening. Eli found himself talking again, something he hadn't done in years. He told her about his life, how he'd built the cabin after losing his family to fever, how the land had been both punishment and healing. Clara listened, eyes soft with empathy. "You saved me, Eli," she said one night. "I owe you my life." He looked at her then, really looked and saw not a broken woman, but someone strong enough to survive what others couldn't. "You don't owe me anything," he said quietly. "Just live." But deep down something in him stirred, something he thought the war had killed long ago. The peace didn't last. 3 days later, Eli spotted riders on the ridge, 5 of them, moving slow and mean. His gut told him what his heart already feared. "They found me," Kyra whispered when she saw them. "Those men, they killed my father." Eli loaded his rifle. "Then they won't do the same to you." He sent her to the cellar with food and water, then took position near the window. The men approached, their leader grinning wide. "Morning, Cowboy," the man called out. "We're looking for a runaway." Eli stepped onto the porch, rifle steady. "Ain't no one here but me." The outlaw's eyes narrowed. "You sure about that?" Eli didn't flinch. "I'm sure." The tension broke like glass. The first gunshot split the air. The outlaws charged, hooves pounding like thunder. Eli fired back, each shot sharp and sure. He hit one, then another, but there were too many. As one rider drew close, Eli dove behind a trove, returning fire until his rifle clicked empty. He was bleeding from the shoulder when a sound stopped everything. The roar of a shotgun. Clara stood in the doorway, pale but fierce, firing both barrels. 2 more men dropped. The last turned and fled into the hills. When it was over, the cabin was silent again. Smoke drifted over the yard. Clara dropped the gun and ran to Eli, tears streaming. "You're hurt?" she said. He smiled faintly. "Just a scratch." She pressed her forehead to his. "You saved me again." You shook his head. "No, you saved me." Later, when the sun set and the desert glowed gold, they buried the dead. Clara looked at him and said softly, "When you found me, and you said it'd be quick, I thought you meant death." Eli smiled. "I meant the healing. If this story touched your heart, if you believe kindness and courage still ride in the hearts of good men, then like this video and subscribe to Legends of the Wild West, because every story here reminds us, even in the hardest times, mercy can still save a soul."